nobody, Lordy. Turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody, Lordy, turn me round. Keep on a walking, Lordy, keep on a talking, Lordy, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let segregation, Lordy, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let segregation, Lordy, turn me round. Keep on a walking, yeah, keep on a talking, yeah, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse, Lordy, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse turn me round. Keep on a walking, Lord, keep on a talking, Lord, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no nervous Nelly, Lord, turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no nervous Nelly, Lord, turn me round. Keep on a walking, yeah, keep on a talking, yeah, marching up to freedom.
The SNCC Freedom Singers here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We'll be joined by Anthony Arnov and Naomi Klein. But on this sad day, the day after the news of Howard Zinn's death, I want to turn to one of the last interviews we did with him. It was May 2009. He came to New York to promote his latest book. You write in the introduction to A Young People's History of the United States, over the years, some people have asked me, do you think that your history, which is radically different than the usual histories of the United States, is suitable for young people? Won't it create disillusionment with our country? Is it right to be so critical of the government's policies? Is it right to take down the traditional heroes of the nation, like Christopher Columbus, Andrew Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt?
It's true that people have asked that question again and again. Should we tell kids that Columbus, whom they have been told was a great hero, that Columbus mutilated Indians and kidnapped them and killed them in pursuit of gold? Should we tell people that Theodore Roosevelt, who is held up as one of our great presidents, was really a warmonger who loved military exploits and who congratulated an American general who committed a massacre in the Philippines? Should we tell young people that? And I think the answer is we should be honest with young people. We should not deceive them. We should be honest about the history of our country. And we should be not only taking down the traditional heroes like Andrew Jackson, Theodore Roosevelt, but we should be giving young people an alternate set of heroes. Instead of Theodore Roosevelt, tell them about Mark Twain. Mark Twain everybody learns about as the author of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, but when we go to school, we don't learn about Mark Twain as the vice president of the Anti-Imperialist League. We aren't told that Mark Twain denounced Theodore Roosevelt for approving this massacre of the Philippines. We want to give young people ideal figures like Helen Keller. And I remember learning about Helen Keller. Everybody learns about Helen Keller. A disabled person who overcame her handicaps and became famous. But people don't learn in school, and young people don't learn in school what we want them to learn when we do books like A Young People's History of the United States, that Helen Keller was a socialist. She was a labor organizer. She refused to cross a picket line that was picketing a theater showing a play about her. And so there are these alternate heroes in American history. There's Fannie Lou Hamer and Bob Moses. They're the heroes of the civil rights movement. There are a lot of people who are obscure, who are not known. We have in this young people's history, we have a young hero who was sitting on the bus and in Montgomery, Alabama, refused to leave the front of the bus. And it was before Rosa Parks. I mean, Rosa Parks is justifiably famous for refusing to leave her seat, and she got arrested, and that was the beginning of the Montgomery bus boycott and really the beginning of a great movement in the South. But this 15-year-old girl did it first, And so we have a lot of it. We are trying to bring a lot of these obscure people back into the forefront of our attention and inspire young people to say, this is the way to live.
Yes, that was Howard Zinn. We're joined now by Anthony Arnove in New York, by Naomi Klein here at Sundance, where Howard Zinn was last year, premiering The People Speak. He was here with Anthony Arnove, who's co-author of Voice of a People's History of the United States, with Anthony. Anthony, we just have a few minutes, but share your reflections on the latest work of Howard Zinn. I know this is a tremendous personal loss for you as well as for everyone.
Well, you know, Howard never rested. He had such an energy, and over the last few years, he continued to write, continued to speak, and he brought to life this history that he spoke about in that segment that you just aired. He wanted to bring a new generation of people into contact with the voices of dissent, the voices of protest that they don't get in their school textbooks, that we don't get in our establishment media, and to remind them of the power of their own voice, remind them of the power of dissent, the power of protest. And he wanted to leave a legacy of crystallizing those voices, synthesizing those voices, and he actively worked to bring together this remarkable documentary, The People Speak, which he narrated. He worked so tirelessly to bring that about, and you know, I just feel so privileged to have had the opportunity to work with him at all, let alone on this project, and to see that realized. But he, you know, Alice Walker talked about his humor, his sense of joy in life, and that was infectious. He really conveyed to everyone he came into contact with that there was no more meaningful action than to be involved in struggle, no more fulfilling or important way of living one's life than in struggle, fighting for justice. And so many people, myself included, but you know, millions of people around the world, countless numbers of people, they changed their lives by encountering Howard Zinn. Howard changed their lives reading A People's History of the United States, hearing one of his lectures, meeting him, hearing him on the radio, reading an article he wrote. He really inspired people to create the kinds of movements that brought about whatever rights, whatever freedoms, whatever liberties we have in this country, and that really is the legacy that it's incumbent upon all of us to extend and keep alive and keep vibrant.